to call to order the December 8th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Let's go ahead and say the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Everybody's here.
Everybody's here. All right. Item 3, consent agenda, approval of minutes from October 15th meeting. Any questions or discussion on that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. New business, 4A, Shops at Kearney, Lot 3F, site plan for AutoZone.
Yeah, and I'd like to switch kind of to a site plan sheet so we can see the property. AutoZone is represented by Nick West with Prism Engineering and Design Group. He is attending online tonight. They propose to construct a 7,381 square foot retail building and associated site improvements on Lot 3F of Shops at Kearney. Property is located on the northwest side of Watson Drive, on the southwest side of Club Car Wash, and then on the north side of the Les Schwab project. That has not started yet, but we approved a site plan for that project earlier this year. This is the property that would share the driveway, so the Les Schwab site plan showed a shared driveway. AutoZone would be ready to share that with them. They have a trash enclosure on the northwest side of the building that would be masonry and painted to match the building. They've got a sidewalk connection from the building out to the sidewalk at Watson Drive. They submit a landscape plan that meets our requirements. They've got a photometric study that shows some parking lot lights, and they have some wall packs. Both of those style of lights are shielded to direct light down as per our requirements, and there's a cut sheet in the site plan sheets if you wanted to look through that or if you haven't already. The building elevations show white and gray stucco finish with cultured stone wainscot, and the developers reviewed and approved the project. With the addition of the retail store, the Shops at Kearney, so the TIF agreement has a requirement that at least 80% of the square footage in the shops be retail, hotel, restaurant, gas station, pharmacy, or other sales tax generators. With this new retail store, it increases a little bit, where it would be at least 85%, so it's compliant with the TIF agreement. And I maintain a chart that you'll see in the staff reports every time we have a new site plan come through. Staff recommends approval of the Shops at Kearney Lot 3F AutoZone site plan with the following conditions. 1, submit revised drawings if necessary. 2, city engineer approval of site plan revisions and any changes, modifications, or alterations required by the same to the site plan revisions. 3, submit a copy of the DNR land disturbance permit if required. 4, install and maintain sediment erosion controls throughout construction. 5, install a key box if required by the Kearney Fire and Rescue Protection District, which they do. 6, submit a building permit application prior to construction. 7, submit a sign permit application prior to sign installation. And 8, develop the project in compliance with all codes, conditions, requirements, plans, and payment of fees and taxes. This application will be forwarded to the Board of Aldermen for their consideration. If there are any questions, I am here, and then, like I said, Nick West is available online if there are other questions.
Okay.
David, I just have one question. Does the landscaping plan meet the city's standards?
Yeah, we have a point system. Yeah, so there are points, depending on the number of parking spaces you have, there are points required. Linear frontage is street frontage, and then just overall landscaping.
Okay.
And so their landscape plan, they've got a little chart. It's hard to see maybe, but they do a calculation, and they show the points and how they calculate it.
Okay.
David, do we have any evergreen trees or any, or is it just all just red buds?
Yeah, we don't necessarily require that they be
Mix,
too much of a mix.
There's some red cedar in there.
is there?
Yeah, it's quite a few.
Yeah, and I think that is
About
kind of
60.
I
Yeah,
think,
those are bushes.
yeah, I think that's more of a bush style.
Yeah. I would just like to see a mix of, evergreen and deciduous trees. That way during the winter, back and forth, we can have some nice screening and landscaping throughout the year, but it's not required in the code. That's really the only thing I had.
Anybody else? Well, I would entertain a motion.
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend the Board of Aldermen approve the Shops at Kearney Lot 3F site plan with conditions as recommended by staff.
Second.
Who seconded?
Whoever.
Okay, sorry, thank you.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right, that takes us to 4B, I think 4B, short-term code amendment, short-term rentals.
Yeah, so we've got, staff's proposing a code amendment to establish requirements for short-term rentals. This is, we've got the World Cup coming up. A lot of cities are actually going through a process if they haven't already. I noted in the staff report that Kansas City's expecting over 650,000 visitors. The number's been up to 750,000 visitors. So it's going to be pretty busy here in our area next year. I don't think there are enough hotel rooms to accommodate everybody, and so that's the reason we're proposing this, and other cities are also proposing. The main goal of our ordinance for us is to allow short-term rentals while ensuring they operate safely and compatible with the neighborhood. Low impact. We want to avoid party houses and other problems that could be a result. You hear nightmares every once in a while about the houses that have issues, and so we want to establish some criteria. So the ordinance that's presented before you today has several provisions, being occupancy limited to 2 people per bedroom plus 2. That kind of helps with the parties, kind of restricts the number of people in the house or in the structure of the unit. Off-street parking is still required, typical of a house. Most of the short-term rentals will probably be a house situation. Compliance with noise, nuisance, and property maintenance regulations, so you got to keep the property maintained and in good order. No exterior signage, prohibiting parties and events. That there be an owner or property manager available 24 hours a day in case there is an issue. We would require business licensing and state registration, so sales tax license through the state, and then we'll collect that as part of our business licensing. Kind of helps try to level the playing field a little bit with hotels that do the same kind of, provide the same kind of service. That there be a local owner or property manager within 50 miles. The email I left on the counter for all of you, I received this evening from the Association of Realtors commenting on the proposed ordinance. They didn't really have any issues other than the proposal that we have that local contact. Now, when I read that, I almost wonder if they think maybe we're saying the property owner must be within 50 miles. We really don't. We're saying property owners or a property manager. That way, if somebody, from another state has a unit, there's somebody that is local that can respond if there's an issue, whether they need to come and have some people kicked out, or if a house is broken into, to come change a lock or help secure the building. We want to have some response.
And that's one of the questions that I had. We have a
a 50-mile, radius on H, but we also don't limit it on F. We don't specifically say what's a local contact.
Yeah, so H establishes that proximity, and F really says, hey, you have to be available 24 hours a day, so we can we can
Yeah,
call
I
you,
just
in
wonder
touch
if
with
it
somebody.
might be better just to stipulate it in both areas, just so that it's really clear, right?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. If you wanted to propose the language, or we could figure that out. On J, and then, so the last comment that we had, oh, I'm sorry, I'm down to I. So short-term rental permit would be required, so there'd be a business license for the owner, and then a permit for each unit. So, typically they might have one, especially if it's if the owner lives on the property, but there might be one that might have a couple of different units, and so we request a permit for each unit. And that would be renewed annually, so we can check, make sure that they, have their licensure, that we don't have issues with the property and other things. And then item J, only a property owner is eligible for a short-term rental permit. So if somebody leases a property, rents the house, they can't then turn around and then do the short-term rental. We just want to clarify only that we'll only deal with the owner of the property. And then, of course, staff recommends approval of the ordinance, and there's a public hearing for tonight. So you want to be sure and open a public hearing. And then discussion if there are comments.
All right, well, I'll open the floor to the public hearing. Okay, I'm gonna close the floor to the public hearing.
Yeah, no one extra is online.
Yep. Open it up to discussion. How long are the events of the World Cup supposed to last?
90 days. We say 30 days in our ordinance, so between now and then, we might need the board to say, hey, maybe for this period of time, we extend that to a 90-day period to cover the World Cup, and then once the World Cup's over, then, back to a normal 30-day window.
Is there a sunset on this, or is this
No proposed, so this would just,
be the new?
yep, be the new
Status quo.
requirement, yeah.
Okay. I had the same question, local contact, owner proximity. Seems like they're dealing with the same vein. They could be combined just for clarity. I don't know that we need to do the language on the dais here, but maybe just make it, moving forward.
Combine F and H together?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
Because it seems like they're dealing with the same side of the coin there, just for clarity. Permit holder, is that an administrative permit? Okay, good.
Yeah, there would be no need to come before a board, yeah,
Just
definitely.
making sure.
Yeah, my other thought was maybe 30 days wasn't enough. I don't even know if I was a property owner, I think I'd want it longer than 30 days. You know what I mean? Like 30 days is not very long considering A, the World Cup, but B, maybe a short-term rental need. Maybe somebody's in between houses and moving and something that needs a little bit longer than 30 days, but that could be something that the alderman can figure out.
But if it was more than 30 days, then it's not a short-term rental anymore, right?
Right.
So it's
Yeah,
already
it's
covered.
I think it deals with, there might be some
So
state
it all-
statutes or other.
Yeah, it falls back to the hotel tax.
Although we don't have a hotel tax.
The state hotel
Oh,
tax.
yes.
Anything over 29 days, 28
Yes.
days falls under the hotel laws. It becomes a long-term lease.
And that's kind of leads into the whole business licensing. How does that coincide with, say, the Airbnb things, which this is technically covering?
This would, yes, this
So-
would be applicable to the Airbnb.
So if I want to Airbnb a room in my house or whatever, I have to get a business license?
Yes.
Or does Airbnb cover that?
No, you
So
would.
Okay. So again, what is needed for a business license from the city?
We have an application form, so, yeah,
I'm aware.
okay.
Just curious, what all is necessary?
You will have to be registered with the state
Yep.
to collect sales tax.
Okay?
And then you will need, that's it for this, right?
Might need insurance.
Nope, that's only for contractors.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. But to register with the state for a sales tax ID, I've also got to do, I got to do a business as well with the state, correct?
Yeah, you have to register with the state
Okay,
because it is subject to sales tax, short-term rentals are.
okay.
So I will say that David and I worked quite a lot on this ordinance. In a previous position, I spent over a year working with the community development director a little closer to Kansas City on their ordinance. And so there's a lot of things in here that are very similar to that municipality. The business license is one of those things. The big thing with the business license is the sales tax number, so that we can
Right.
get sales tax off of it. To Shannon's comment, the other municipality was actually 29 days or less. So that's where the 30-day comes in, because anything over 29 days is a long-term rental. So, so there's been a lot of work behind the scenes to try to get this.
So does that need to change in our definition of a short-term rental? Oh, it says less than 30 days.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Some ordinances that I've seen say 29 days, no more than 29 days. Some say 30 days or less, which technically does not meet the state requirement, because state requirement says 29 days. And so most ordinances will say less than 30 or 29 or less. So,
Also, you're required to have paid all your real estate tax and all your personal property tax.
Yep.
Sorry.
I think the other thing to make sure everybody's aware of, that as a short-term rental becomes a business, that's why, another reason for the business tax, or the business license, and it requires, it then falls under a different code also. So,
Maybe I worry about unintended consequences of it, in terms of, like, I know with us, when we moved from Georgia back here to Kansas City, we had bought a house and everything, but then our house fell through in Georgia, but the people that were in the house had already moved out and then rented the house to us until we could get a second contract on the house, and we didn't know whether that was going to be 29 days or whether that was going to be 6 months, right? And so I know it's kind of a unique situation, but I'm also trying to think through of what situations would there be where someone would run into this unintended. They're not actually trying to do a short-term rental. They're not trying to go into business to be a short-term rental person, but they'll just run into this and the hassle of it, right? Just to help somebody out.
There might be unintended consequences.
Yeah.
Not very well. Now, that's probably going to be hard to monitor.
Yeah.
At least with this, one of the things we would do is you have your short-term rental organizations like your Airbnb and VRBOs, and so we would end up having to monitor those to see if they have somebody registered. Because those are going to be, even though they're short-term rentals, they're intended to be long-term short-term rentals. So they're going to be around for a while, and they're going to hopefully be successful and have a lot of tenants stay in their building. So they'll be on those sites or wherever they can advertise to people, and so we will have to look for those. But yeah, is there somebody, a one-off somewhere
Yeah.
that might have something, but we probably won't know about that.
Sure, yeah.
Well, and signing a month-to-month lease for rental is different than a short-term rental too,
Mhm.
right? So you might do a month-to-month and only be there 30 days.
Yeah,
Or you might move out early because, or, you know, who knows? Like, well, but as long as your intention was to have, then you'd just be a different kind of business.
The other municipality, we had a lot of traveling nurses. And the traveling nurses, as long as they were going to be there, again, 29 days or less, then they could come into the facilities that were registered as short-term rentals. Most of these traveling nurses know ahead of time, I'm gonna be there 6 months, I'm gonna be there a year. And so they don't fit into this category, they'll fit into the normal rental property. So we did have that quite a bit, but
Any other questions or comments?
Oh, I got some comments. Comment wise, I mean, they're coming, right? There's 650,000 conservatively, 550,000, high end 750,000. They're all not coming at once, right? It's over a 30-day period, but they'll be here before, they'll be here after. We're getting some pretty big names coming through. Argentina is going to play a game here. They travel really well. There's only about 55,000 hotel rooms in the metro. So Airbnbs they're going to be here. You know, we can take one or two approaches. We can take the approach of sticking our head in the sand and ignore it until it becomes a problem, or we can be like the buffalo and face it headwind, straightforward, right? So I prefer to take it head on. So I was happy to hear that this doesn't have a sunset on it, because it just gives us 1-2 more tools in the tool bag to address issues as they do arise. So. And that's my soapbox.
is there a reason that we're not requiring insurance on the property from, say, the property owner?
Well, we don't list that specifically in our ordinance, but the property owner is going to have insurance, you know, and I imagine the VRBOs and the Airbnbs require insurance for those units.
they do.
If there's nothing else, I'd entertain a motion.
I move that the Planning and Zoning Commission recommend to the Board of Aldermen approve the proposed amendment to Municipal Code Section 405.595 as recommended by staff.
Second.
Any additional comments?
So I would amend that to combine, what is it, F and J? Is that what we said?
F and H.
F and H.
F and H.
Okay. So we'll combine F and H, otherwise then my recommendation would be.
Your second still hold?
I second again.
Who was the second? Shannon, okay.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. All right. I think that's
Deal.
all. Is there anything else for the good of the order?
Have a good holiday and Happy New Year.